Hi everybody, Nigel here with you again with another book review from Wingleader, and following on from the last one I did, which was on the Avro Anson. This is number 26 and this is on the Supermarine Spitfire Mk.I and II, and it's a special edition. It's by Richard Alexander and this is really aimed at the modeler. These books, the whole range of books, I've reviewed every one of them, and they are absolutely awesome. For example, I think it's number 5, the Lancaster, again by Richard Alexander. Absolutely awesome reference book, especially if you're doing an early Lancaster, and then you've got the other books as well on the later Lancasters, and then you've got the special projects, you know, the Dam Busters and the Tall Boy and all that. So some really good Lancaster books in the range. Go take a look on wingleader.com. I think it's wingleader.co.uk, sorry. Go take a look at wingleader.co.uk and have a look at the full range on there. They're only 20 quid, they're 19.99, and they are absolutely amazing, and they've managed to hold the price at 19.95 for, well, since they've been making them, which is absolutely amazing, because you think in time they've been making these, you know, a magazine has gone from sort of £3 to £5.50. And now, you know, some of the AFV modeler magazines are like £7. It's just, you know, this for 20 quid is an absolute and utter bargain. So as I say, this is number 26, Spitfire Mk.I and II. You can get it from here, wingleader.co.uk. Now, normally I open these reviews up with a review of the packaging. They come from a company called Bookworld, and you can order them direct from wingleader.co.uk, and they will come from Bookworld. They come usually with sometimes with a piece of cardboard inside. Then they're wrapped in a bubble wrap bag. Then they're in to protect the damage. Then they're in a cardboard envelope, and then they're in a sealed plastic bag, so they can get wet, cold, damp, in the sun, whatever, and the book will arrive to you in perfect condition. Now, I don't know how other people ship their books, but I know that Bookworld ship them absolutely beautifully. And if you, as I say, if you order from wingleader.co.uk, that's how the book will come. There's the ISBN number for this book, should you want to look it up through that method. They do ship all over the world, so so go take a look. Alright, so as I say, this is by Richard Alexander. For those of you that don't know Richard Alexander, he is of ex-Wingnut Wings fame, and he was very big in the Wingnut Wings / Border Model Lancaster. Very much big in the development of that and all the research for it and everything. And as we know, that's probably one of the most detailed model aircraft money can buy. So there we go. Now this book, a lot of people were asking Mark Postlethwaite of Wingleader for a book on the Mark II, and it explains in here that there's not really a lot going on with the Mark II, because it was very short-lived and there wasn't a lot of development. A lot of them became Mark Vs very quickly. So it's sort of, what they decided to do was put together a book with the Mk.I and Mark II, because they've already done the Mk.I, which was the first book, and it was basically Battle of Britain. So this sort of picks up before the Battle of Britain and goes from there, sort of thing. So you can see here, you've got Qatari Models. Mark Postlethwaite is the series editor. Qatari Models is a company which is managed by Richard Alexander. So it's all sort of linked in. If you know Qatari, you'll know that their initial kit was the Spitfire Mk.I Mid. So that is really covered in here. So basically what's happened is Richard has come along with all the research he's done for that beautiful model and turned it into a book, basically, which is something he does very well. So looking in here, we've got a beautiful period colour photo of this Mk.I flying over, or maybe a Mark II actually, flying over. You can see the white spinner, normally that would be sky, but you can see the very blotchy paintwork on the wings. We can see the guns are still covered up with the fabric covering to stop them from icing up, but we can see that there's like fuel marks and chipping and all sorts all over the place. It's a really good photograph. You know, it's well worth getting this book, because I've had a quick look through it. I don't know a hell of a lot about the Spitfire, I don't know a hell about anything, to be honest, but I've had a quick look through it and picked up some bits and pieces. So this is the Mk.I, the Type 300 Spitfire Mk.I early production. and this is from 1936, so as you can see it's unarmed. It's still got the flat canopy. There's no camouflage on there. I don't know if Britain even knew there was going to be war looming or whatever at this point. Now you can see in 1937 they've started to add some camouflage. You can see the massive wing roundels with the yellow band around the outside, very much like the ones on the side of the fuselage. They had the same on the wing roundels to start with. And it's also saying, note the faded appearance of the blue in the roundels. So here we go, moving up now from to sort of June 36 and up to sort of 1939. And here what they're doing, this is absolutely fantastic. You'll see a lot of these blocks throughout this book. And what they're doing is significant external identification features are a 2-blade propeller, okay, 1 star. 3-blade de Havilland propellers, de Havilland dual pitch propellers introduced in February 39. Early style exhaust manifolds. Last dozen or so aircraft fitted with revised mid-late pattern exhaust manifolds. And that is the last dozen or so from this batch. Okay, so 300 Rolls-Royce Merlin 2-3 powered aircraft ordered in June 36 in the K9787 to K9999 and L1000 to L1096 series number range, and completed by Supermarine between 3rd of June 36 and 5th of September 39. 2 were converted to Cannon Arm Mark 1B and 7 were later converted to Rolls-Royce Merlin 45 engine powered Mark 5A. So you can see a lot of these aircraft you're seeing in here went on to become Mark 5s. And then here we've got the full-length engine cowlings, exposed fuselage fuel tank, external camera gun, ring and bead sights, unarmoured windscreen. First 6 fitted with short and steep angle rectangular armoured windscreen. So there's all these fantastic notes, so you can sort of go to the serial model, the serial number of the model you want to build, and there's all the information in there. And again, we've got the beautiful 3D images as well. Or sorry, should I say the CAD images. You can see here's one with the very flat canopy, early exhaust and everything. Looking very, very nice. Again, unarmed, no guns. So here we go. Here's Spitfire Mark 1 K9787. And on here we've got port and starboard images. Notice on here we've got the hubcaps. We've got the 2-bladed wooden propeller. And then down here you've got all the notes and everything. Untrimmed engine cowlings, exposed fuel tanks and fairings. It's unarmed, it's got no gun sights. Shorter, more angled windscreen with rectangular armoured glass. Flat hood there. Small aluminium hydraulic reservoir tank inside starboard side of the fuselage behind frame 11. Well, you can't see that. Early dual pitot tubes, wheel covers, pole type aerial mast. It's just a pole. No rivets on wireless door. It does go into detail like rivets or no rivets. It's absolutely amazing. And then they're talking about the colours here, which was something I didn't know. Dark earth and dark green with hard edges, which is very interesting. You can see here the hard edges. So we're always talking about not having hard edges. This one's got hard edges. A camouflage scheme, which is non-standard. Aluminium undersurfaces. I never knew they painted these in aluminium underneath. Supermarine style stenciling partial, and fuselage roundel in forward position. As you can see, it's right up there just behind the cockpit. And as you can see at the moment, no serial codes or anything. So here we go. You can see here's an inverted aircraft after a crash, and it's showing here it's got the fuselage fuel tank as you used to see them without the covering on it, without the armour on it. And you've got the dark earth and dark green paint scheme, and you can see here the hard edge. It's a very, very hard edge on there, so using masks or whatever and having a hard edge on your early Spitfires is going to be correct. Here you can see we've got gun flash eliminators in the wings, which was unusual to see in a Spitfire. And going over the page, here we are, 4th of May 39. We've now started to see some serial codes coming in. We've got the black and white undersides. Note there, the undercarriage bays are still in silver or aluminium, should I say, and also the ailerons and the elevators are still aluminium as well. So very interesting pictures there. And then you can see we've got one underneath here with the sky underside. And then we've got some here. And here you can see the single pitot tube. All of these have the double pitot tube, but that one there has the single. You've got a battery charger or battery power system keeping the power up on the aircraft in the winter overnight or while it stood. And you can see here some more period photos of the early aircraft. You can see a damaged fabric elevator there. And here's the door with flush mounted rivets, although you can see here is all raised rivets, but the actual door there is flush mounted rivets. And then later in life they had raised mounted rivets, and it goes all to that, into that detail in here. It's really, really good. You can see here we are now, we've got the white and black undersides, or white and night should I say, and now the undercarriage bays and the inside of the undercarriage doors are also white and night. So you can see here, white undercarriage on that side, black undercarriage on that side, same for the legs, same for the wheels and everything. Still got this hard edge camo, very small wing roundels, but now we've got full registration on here. And then moving along, we can see we've got the armour plating appearing now on the fuel tanks. And here we go, talking about another batch of 200. September 38, completed in 1939. Sorry, between September 39 and January 1940. 10 were later converted to Mark 5A. So there we go, once again with the Mark 5A stuff. And we can see here, this picture here, more crashed aircraft. There's with its flaps down, which is unusual to see a Spitfire with its flaps down. You've got a gas patch over there being arrowed. And of note here is the exposure on the camera. You can see the blue and the red is looking very unusual. So just, you know, you've got the chipping on the wing there, which is very authentic. And you can see some raised rivet detail there being rubbed. Also notice the little access panel in the side of the canopy. And there we've got the later type antenna. We've moved away from the pole. Another thing to note through here is when you start looking at camouflage, it talks about it later in the book, but you'll notice that these early aircraft, the actual underside camouflage goes up to the edge of the engine cover door, whereas on later aircraft it tends to be a soft, rather than being masked, it's just a sprayed line, and it's the same back here as well, and it all tends to go more up the fuselage. Again, you can see here we've got more information. It's talking here about the later composite seat, and the original metal seat was sometimes fitted instead, usually as a replacement for a broken composite seat. So maybe those composite seats weren't that good after all. Here you can see same aircraft. Here it's being armed up. Here it's got like a charger plugged into it, and you can see they're fitting the ammo boxes in for the guns. Of note here, you can see the the gun is painted over in red here. What I don't understand, and maybe somebody can tell me in the comments, I would have thought that we would have the patches there all sort of blown out or rough, but it looks very neat, unless of course they rip them off when they come in. But it also looks like it's got a darker line around there as well. They mentioned that in the comments here. Also of note, notice along the leading edge of the wing we have exposed rivets. So apparently it's very common for this period of aircraft. Again, notice the sharp line on the camouflage. It's also worth noting as well the weathering under here. You can see the dirty area stained by cordite and oil and everything. And here we've gone on to Sky now, and you can see we've got Sky, factory painted Sky, all in the wheelbase and everything. So this is sort of what you're used to seeing, isn't it, with your Spitfires? Certainly in the earth and green schemes. Here you can see the down shooting flare chute in there. Later obviously changed to the vertical flying one. Here's a fantastic picture of all the oil and everything coming out the bottom. Also something I've just noticed, I haven't seen in the description, but interesting that we've got one large wing roundel and one smaller one. This one's got the yellow band around the outside, and that one hasn't, unless it's just a trick of the camera. Here you can see some shrapnel damage, and they're talking here about the fuselage roundel size and white stenciling on the wireless access door. So again, you know, some of them had black, some of them had white, so worth looking out for on your particular aircraft that you want to build. And going over the page here, you can see we've got the black wheel there. Looks like a black wheel anyway. We've got the sky coloured spinner, but the back plate is still dark in colour. This one's all black on the spinner. And now we've got cannons fitted, and we've moved on to a 3-bladed propeller. Notice the writing on the side, more about that later. Okay, and you can see here we've got the TRD9 aerial mast, TR9D aerial mast, sorry, you can see there. We've got IFF wires on here, which is just like the same as on the Lancaster, coming from the ends of the tailplane over to the fuselage. And what's this? Yeah, this is amazing. This is just an aircraft that's been not used a lot. It's in America actually, and you can see it's very, very grubby. And also notice this soft edge on the camo, and how much the camo comes up the side, the underside colour, how much it comes up the side now. It's just sprayed on. You compare that to this one, you can see it's very low and it's very sharp. This one's up to the door, whereas this one's all soft. And again, we've got the comments about this certain batch of Spitfire. We're on to the Mark II A and B now. And here you can see a load of guys stood around. You can see this one's still got the antenna there. Again, the antenna was dropped at a certain point. And you've got now the bulge canopy coming in as well, slightly there. And you can see the engine, the cartridge firing for the engine starting here. That's all the mechanism there being exposed, and explaining why you have this bulge in the sides there now. Another beautiful picture showing the grubbiness of the aircraft and everything. And here we've got another one. The hull is arrowed, and it is, what's the arrow all about? I normally look for where it says arrowed, and I can't see arrowed in there, so never mind. There's a hole there for something or other. And then going over the page here, we've got, once again, these are by Ronnie Barr. This is the guy that did all the Wingnut Wings instructions, your colour call-outs, and he works now with Qatari as well and does their instructions. So you can see here, Spitfire Mark II A, June 1941. You can see now we've got the aluminium wheels, we've got the sky painted underside. Again, we've got this sharp edge, which has been depicted here. It sort of, you know, comes and goes. We're back now to the standard, what we know as the common roundels. We've got the large upper roundels, the red, white and blue underneath, and then we've got the yellow band around the outside on there. So you can see here all the notes for the modelers, absolutely brilliant, and very, very nice to see. Here's some more images of Mark II A's. You see one coming in here with the flaps down. You can see the flaps are practically vertical, which I'd never known. I didn't know they went down that far. And then here we've got the observer corps. Squadron Commander Donald Finlay with Spitfire Mark II A Observer Corps in November 1940. Note the Rotol RX-53 propeller, the swastika victory markings, and very pale sky spinner and backing plate and fuselage band painted over the serial number. Okay, these were done in the field and the paint was mixed in the field, so that's why they're saying it's a very light, a very pale sky. Also notice the centre of gravity origin stencil A under the observer corps. There you go, you see the centre of gravity is way up there. It's amazing, isn't it, to think that the centre of gravity is there. So there we go, and we've got what's this? We got stencil B on the wing fillet here. That's for electrical connection, and IFF Mark II Aerial C. Okay, you can see the cable there going across to the fuselage, and the CBAF style of stenciling on the cockpit door. CBAF, I can't remember what it stands for now. It's the aircraft factory. It's gone. I had it, I'd read it, I remembered it, and now it's gone. It's the name of the place where the aircraft were made, and I've forgotten it. So there you go. I'm sure one of you will tell me in the comments below. So I'm sure 1 million people will tell me in the comments below, actually. And we got some more here. Got Mark II A there, QJX, and then here you can see some overspray. So this is great for the model. You can see this is basically an enlargement of that photograph. Got the overspray on the propeller blade and also on the cowling there. So good to see that. And if you did that on your model, people would just probably think you can't mask. Here you can see the demarcation now. It's fairly sharp, but now it's moved away from the door. So it goes up and down all over the bloody place. So there we are. And there's that beautiful colour photo again. And here they're showing us what they're doing with the arrow. Also note the colour of the squadron code letters and the electrical radio socket door faintly visible beneath the R. So there we are. Lots and lots of changes going on. There's some more there. And then this one here, counter-attack. This was actually bought by the Navy. We'll go back, we'll look at it when we get to the rear cover, but basically they had presentation aircraft, and what you could do as an individual or a town or a city or a council or whatever, you could pay £5,000 to the Spitfire Fund, and you actually bought the Spitfire, and they put your name wherever you wanted on the side of the aircraft, so you were kind of sponsoring that aircraft. And this one is counter-attack, and here you've got the pilot here shaking hands with a lady from the Navy. She's in her Navy uniform, so her name is Nora Margaret Fish. So there we go. Now you can see the aircraft have changed to the from the brown and green, or the dark earth and green, now they're grey-green with the grey undersides as well. See how things are changing through the time. You can see here the undercarriage bays, and inside the undercarriage doors, wheels and legs are still in the sky colour. So lovely little notes there to bear in mind. Got the Polish flag there as well. Here we can see it looks like they're still in the sky here. And then we've got this one here, City of Leicester, a chimney sweep walking by, got a gun camera down in there. And then here we've got they're actually loading, I did read this here, adding carriers under the wings and reinstating the front landing flare chute to drop markers, flares, dinghies and rescue packs. So that's what they're loading up in there. And then we've got the Mark 1 and Mark 2A A and B reference guide, and this is great. I'm not going to go through all this. You have to get the book yourself and have a look. But basically it's talking about different types of exhaust. There's 6 different types. Notice here you've got the stenciling, which is what Qatari gives you. And then we've got the different seats. We've got the different fuel tanks. Here we've got the different canopies. And then we've got the different type of latch system on the doors. No crowbar. Different latch systems, different lettering, different stenciling. Different types of mirroring. They're probably talking about the armour plate in there as well. On the windscreen. And then here we've got the different types of windscreen. Different types of gun sight, and then different propellers, all those versions there. And then here we've got the wireless doors. You can see this one's got raised rivets, this one doesn't. We have a different type of undercarriage doors. You can see this one's got a great big flange on the bottom, that one hasn't. Then we're into instrument panels, and forget all these arrows, these are obviously from another book, but they're just basically showing you, you know, a picture, and obviously that picture has like 1, 2, 3 all over it. And they're talking about all the gauges and bits and pieces that are present on certain ages of certain aircraft. You can see here we've got wrecks dug up from the ground, whatever, and they've been reconstructed, cleaned up, whatever. But you can see there's different types of instrument panels here. There's another type there, so that's the 6th one there. And then going over, we've actually got 10, we've got 9 and 9A, or probably it's 9 actually, that's probably a section of that one. But you can see, it's also worth noting, something I did note, when you look at this, the actual main instrument panel is lighter in colour than you can see it here. The blind flying panel is darker in colour than the rest of the instrument panel, so that's interesting. So maybe actually use, you know, your black on that, and use your rubber black on the instrument panel. So, and here is all about the presentation aircraft. We can see here it talks about how it all worked, how you paid the money, and you could put the name on the side of the aircraft. This one's actually got the Evening Telegraph on it as well, so obviously that was a joint sponsoring. And they're talking about the different factories. Supermarine's Eastleigh factory used an elaborate gold and yellow script to inscribe presentation. You can see that, beautiful. And then this one here, Castle Bromwich, that was it. CBAF is Castle Bromwich. They've just used like stencils here, like the you know, like your one-man army stencils, and painted through them. In fact, one-man army are much better because they're much straighter than that. But there we go. So that's basically that, guys. I would thoroughly recommend this to anyone who's considering building an early Spitfire. It is absolutely crammed with information, as I've said, and there is so much you can sort of read. And you know, if you sort of, you know, you sort of see here 16th of February 41 for that. Okay, so if I go back to here, this was March 41, and I can see that one's got a different, so it must have been between February and March that changed. But then you've got to look at what factory it came from. Was it given to the squadron in February, or was it manufactured in February? It may have been manufactured you know, December the previous year and not even got to the squadron until March. You just don't know. So really, really good information in here. Fantastic book. As I say, it's written by Richard Alexander. It's going to be awesome. It's just going to be brilliant. Everything he does is. So there we go. So as I say, that's the price, £19.95. That's where to get it from, wingleader.co.uk, and there is the ISBN should you want to get it from a local supplier in your own country, whatever. But I'd thoroughly recommend getting it from wingleader.co.uk, especially if you're in Britain, because the packing is brilliant. I bought a book recently on Amazon and it came in a jiffy bag, and all the corners were all bent and everything, and it was about the same size as this but much thicker, so 3-4 times the weight, and I was very disappointed that it was just put in a, you know, in a jiffy bag. It was terrible. Thank you for watching. Hope you've enjoyed it, and very soon I will have a review of this one up. This is the next one. This is number 27 on the Halifax. I'm going to have to go through here and take some notes and stuff. I know absolutely nothing about the Halifax, but I'm sure I will after I've looked through this. So there we go. Also of note, from the Wingleader collection, you can see we had the Anson, the Halifax, and now the Spitfire. They've got 25, 27, 26. They should be the other way around. But you can see here that number 28 probably, I can pretty much guarantee, number 28 is going to be the Douglas, Boston and Havoc in RAF service in Northwest Europe. I was at Telford yesterday. I got into a conversation with Mark Postlethwaite, with Neil from Hong Kong Models. We started talking Bostons, and Mark just went right off on one and was just like an unstoppable train with his information. And Neil and I were just looking at each other like, oh my god, this is crazy. So there we go. So I've put Neil in touch with Mark. Hopefully out of that we will get an RAF A20 coming from Hong Kong Models, so that'll be really good. We've also got the Tempest coming, and we got the B-24 Consolidated Liberator as well in RAF Coastal Command Service, so that'll be really worth seeing. That'll be a beautiful, beautiful book, that one. That's one of my favourite aircraft. So really, really good. And the other thing I'm going to be bringing to show you soon, this is the Wingleader Archive, and basically what this is, you pay an annual subscription, and it basically has over 25,000 military and aviation photos, including 15,000 World War II, or 15,000 plus World War II aviation images, and it's all stuff like this. And you can see, and there you get them on your computer screen, and they are like full-size computer screen. They're watermarked, obviously, to save you stealing them. And it's not just like, you know, sometimes you get a picture, you blow it up and it's all grainy and everything. These are going to be full quality, fantastic pictures that you can go and have a look at. And it's going to be well worth looking at. You know, you think about it, you know, there's what, 72 pages in here. Say there's an average of three pictures per page. So that's what's that? That's 200 images in a book for 20 quid. You know, this is going to be 25,000 images. So absolutely amazing. But you can see that kind of picture there. If you were modelling this Junkers 88 and you wanted to add engine detail, look at that. Brilliant, isn't it? So there we go. Apparently, in the Second World War, Bostons were getting shot down by a friendly force because they thought they were Junkers 88s. Right, I'll see you all soon. Thank you for watching. As I say, this book here, very much worth having, and right by my side here is that one, number 5. This also is very much worth having, again by Richard Alexander. There's the ISBN number. This here, I think, is probably the best Lancaster resource there is for an early Lanc. It's just, you know, it's probably the thinnest book available. It's probably one of the smallest books available, but there is more information in here than you could ever want to build an accurate model. You just got to go and find it. So there we go. Thank you for watching. I'll see you all soon. Bye for now.